Essen is on its way.
And these are the 10 games that I am most looking forward to.
Hi, I'm Libby, this is Julian, and together we are BoxedMeeples. And of course, we are super excited for another Essen just around the corner. Now, I've been a few times now, but this is going to be your first time.
I have never had a chance to go to Essen, the kind of biggest board game expo in the whole world. I've heard great things about it.
Yes.
I thought UK Games Expo was big, but this is 4 times the size. So I'm a little bit daunted by the sheer volume of it.
At least, I think every hall is pretty much the size of UK Expo.
So we have been through the apps, we've been through recommendations, we've looked at other videos, and we have whittled down the literally thousands of board games that are going to be there to pick our 10 we are most excited about.
Yes, we have indeed. And we have been using the tabletop together tool, which I think is fantastic for Essen and probably for a lot of conventions. It's pulling from those Spiel preview lists that you find on BGG. You can direct link to the BGG listings, but you're also able to prioritize which ones you like the best and maybe make a note, have you pre-ordered it or not? And then when you get to print these things out, you can print even in hall number. So when you're actually trying to get through and get to the stands you really need to, because it can be very busy, this is perfect. But it's also perfect for making top 10 lists.
So these are my top 10 lists. Obviously they're going to differ to Libby's top 10 lists, and they're probably going to differ to your top 10 list. I base this on other games by the publishers that I liked, other games that are similar to it, and sometimes just it's got a pretty box. So let's get into my top 10 list. Now, there's a few exceptions that aren't going to be on the list.
Yeah, so if we have already received a game for review, for example, Shackleton Base just here, will be there at Essen to have a look at, to demo, to play. We won't include that. So, and again, for example, Andromeda's Edge is due to arrive any day now. Super excited about that. Unconscious Minds on its way prior to Essen. So games like that we won't include on this list here. These are ones that we know very little about, but are super excited for nonetheless.
Let's get into my list then. These are the 10 games I'm most excited for at Essen Spiel 2024.
The first one on your list is Kimono Memories by Emperor S4.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this because I'm a big fan of Hanamakoji. It's a really great 2-player dueling game. They've done one kind of follow-up, which is Geisha's Road. Has a similar mechanics, but slightly more complex. There's slightly different tweaks to the rules. And plays slightly longer, although still not very long. This is still
we have that lovely 2-set box that has them both in.
I've been trying to get it for a while, and I went all in when there was a Kickstarter. Now, this is in the same series, but is in this one, you are basically taking photos of Geisha and comparing photos, and who has the best photos, gets to win the game. It's still kind of got that dueling, fighting over, shifting, scoring conditions
because
that you've seen.
The card play, the card choice in Hanamakoji is so tough.
Yeah.
Like deciding which one to potentially let your opponent nab. You just want to keep the ball all of the time.
So I think in spirit it's the same, but I think this has been a bigger deviation from the original Hanamakoji than Geisha's Road was. I certainly hope so. And I thoroughly enjoy both of those games. So I definitely want to see this game. And with many on this list, if I see it and I like it, I'm hopefully going to bring it back home as well.
So next up on your list is Adulthood by Brotherwise Games.
Yeah, as you know, I really love Brotherwise. I think they're a fantastic company and just done incredibly well with the latest RPG, most successful RPG on crowdfunding. So congratulations to them. I like them for Boss Monster and for Overboss particularly. But I saw this and I was intrigued by it. I just mentioned that what's great about any kind of expo is getting to get hands-on and actually play games before you make your purchasing decisions. And this is a game I kind of feel like I need to play. Now, normally I like a game that takes me outside of my normal life, really.
Yes, and this one doesn't seem like we're doing that all together. We're kind of going through that life journey, that roller coaster that we're all on.
Yeah.
So is it too close to home,
that's the
or
thing.
is it going to be really compelling?
That's the reason I want to kind of play it, to kind of experience that. And the only kind of analogy I've kind of got is like Fog of Love, for example, where you're playing other people falling in love and having that relationship, and it's very separate to you. And I want to see if that is the case with this game, whether you can play it in a more, role player style game where you're playing this person, you're going to see how they go through their life, or if it's how it works. And the only other game I played like this that springs to mind is The Game of Life, and I imagine it's going to be nothing like that old 80s classic.
Are you going to university?
Which route are you going to go down? So yeah, I'm intrigued by it, and the art is amazing. I think it's beautiful art you've seen in this game. But yeah, I want to just find out more about it, and hopefully that'll inform whether it's the game for me or not. It may not be, but at least this way I'll get to find out.
Certainly intrigued.
I am, yeah.
So this next one on your list, I mean, I think it's got your name written all over it. I don't think there's going to be any sort of doubt as to whether you're going to have to check it out and see or not. And this is Until Proven Guilty. And I'm assuming there's going to be a whole series of them, because this is the Starry Sky Necklace and it's DV Games.
Yes. So
I mean, this looks pretty objection to me.
So you're alluding to the Phoenix Wright games, which are one of my favourite ever video game series. There's a video somewhere on the internet. If I find it, I'll link to it down below, where I just went through all of my Phoenix Wright games. And this is probably 5 or 6 years old, if not more than that. It's pre-Beard. That's how old it is. And I have a massive Phoenix Wright. You never heard of this game prior to meeting me, this series.
But now, whenever I find you sort of lolling about on a chair with a video game, I can just hear the objection.
So much pointing in that game. I love these games, and this clearly is based on them. There's been other games in the past that have been influenced, I think, by the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games. Lawyer Up, for example, didn't scratch that itch for me. It didn't give me that same sense of absurdity with actually really violent, horrible crimes that you get in those Phoenix Wright games. But this, I think, has captured it. Even the box looks like a box for one of those games. So I've been toying with and teasing the publisher about this game, using as many Ace Attorney references as I can, and they've not fought that away. So I think this is going to be the board game version of one of my favourite video game series. And if it is, then
excited!
Yeah, they can take that money and hold it while I grab the games and take it with me. Lots of Phoenix Wright references for you if you didn't have a clue what I'm talking about there. This isn't the game for you, but it's the game for me.
If you thought that was cheesy, then just wait till this next game, because it's Fromage. And sorry, I'm laughing at my own jokes. It's bad, isn't it? And this is Road to Infamy Games, or R2I Games.
Now, this was a game I had on previous lists where I was talking about games I was excited about.
Of the year, yes.
I'm still excited about it.
I mean, it's cheese. And there's a lot of it. And there's blue cheese, and there's white cheese, and there's
hard cheese.
All the cheeses.
Now, as I said in that video, I really like cheese. Both the jokes and, of course, the actual physical food. I do love cheese. And we played this game now on BGA, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you've played on BGA, and it's never as good when you haven't played the physical game first. So I don't feel like we've really understood it. No,
I think there's some delving in to be done, and I often with BGA I don't kind of do my proper homework. You kind of go into it and just see what's going to happen, see what it lets me do, and unless I've played it before, then it's a different story, isn't it?
From what I've seen on BGA and what I've seen, it's a mixture of viticulture with the cheese expansion, and that rotatey Zolkin game.
Yes, because you have got that sort of cog weight timer situation going on. Which is interesting
how long
to see how long you're going to
age?
age your cheese for, and why, and what you're going to get for having aged for such a long time or not.
So I was excited about this game at the beginning of the year. I'm still excited about it now. We haven't had a chance to to get hold of it until Essen, and I'm going to play it, and hopefully it's going to be the cheesy game of my dreams.
Cheese for Christmas gaming.
Oh, who doesn't have cheese at Christmas?
And it just seems like the Essen releases this year are kind of made for you, because this list is just full of games that have your name written all over them. And this one is Kyoto no Neko.
Yeah, and so this is Matagot games, and it's basically a cat in Kyoto, or cats in Kyoto, and you're going around a variable board doing cat-based missions.
I mean, it could be dog-based.
It could be. It would be better if it was a German Spitz in, Kyoto.
Yeah, or an Akita, because,
That works too. But it's cats. And I really love, for a long time now, I've loved Japanese culture, kind of that pop culture, and obviously the more traditional Japanese, influences. And this seems to have it all. And I just love the idea of cats going about
wandering about Kyoto.
I recently played a game called Stray, which is a video game about where you're just playing as a cat, and I really fell in love with the idea of just being a cat. So if it plays on that kind of thing, you're going around doing things in Kyoto as a cat, with variable missions, then yes, please, I'll have a bit of that. And it looks really nice on the table. It looks really lovely. And I didn't know about this game until a friend of ours called Jess said, can you do me a favour and pick up this game for me when you're there? So it's thanks to her that I found out about this. And not only will I be picking up a game copy for her, but I'll probably be picking up a game to go on our shelf too.
Oh, whilst doing my research, I flagged this as with your name on it.
Yes, that's what I did.
You didn't even find it yourself.
And it's more what people are talking about this. I think there's already a bit of a buzz about this game. So yeah, keen to play it.
So we have a variety of pizza games in this household. You love a pizza.
I do.
You love a pizza.
I really love pizza.
And some of the pizza games are better than others. Some of them are quite poor. And this one hopefully would be an upgrade to the pizzas. Toppings, this is. And is by Ludamus Games.
Yeah, so the favourite game, amongst our family for pizza-based fun is a really bizarre game called the Pizza Game, which we picked up. And we've amended the rules. We've tried to influence it and make it less of a chancy game. And I think the end result is quite a fun game. It's a memory game, but you kind of rotate it. And really, Toppings feels like as if someone had seen this game and said, okay, let me just give it a complete overhaul and make it a good, fun game. And obviously this is a more party vibes than a lot of the other games. This isn't a heavyweight Euro or anything like that. You're trying to, deal with different pizza toppings, and the actual production of it is incredible for the type of game it is.
I quite like the films that you can get that add the sauces, or I don't know if there's one with extra cheese or something like that. There's different films that you can put on the different slices, I think, and the way you place the different toppings on there with the whole pizza thing, I think it looks fantastic. Yeah,
it's going to be really light-hearted, slightly silly, but it's a game that I know that as a family we're going to enjoy playing. And often, we get lost in the big AAA titles, which are going to have the massive stands and everyone will be talking about, and we kind of lose sight that we haven't got physical time to play all these absolutely huge games. Sometimes you just want a game you can play as a family at the weekend. And I think this is really going to be perfect for that. And
it's great for us to have that combination between light and family games that we play with just us, and then sort of more that you can play with our family, more extended family that don't really play that many games, as well as ones that we can sit down just us or with our friends that are a little bit more.
And the girls are getting older now, and they enjoy much more sophisticated mechanisms. So the games they used to love a few years back, now they find kind of just a bit simple. So if it's a step up from those games that they played before with more complicated mechanics, then it's going to be absolutely perfect for us. So I'm keen to play out, see if it works for us, and then
And for a fact that you're going to organise a pizza night.
It has to
for
you have to
Toppings.
You have to eat pizza while you're playing Toppings. I don't know how you would not. It'd be madness. As long as you remember which slice you're meant to be eating and which slice you're meant to be playing with.
So next up, we're going in for war games, and this is Osprey game. So we know the Undaunted system, but this is in space. So it's 2200 Callisto version. So it's going to bring a whole new theme to Undaunted.
Now, we recently fell in love with Undaunted. We hadn't played it early enough. We started playing it last year after discovering it. We did discover it. We knew about it. We actually played it and was like, I understand now what the fuss is about. And then particularly Undaunted Battle of Britain has been a big favourite. We played for the entire campaign of that. It's actually
I really love how those planes move around in different ways, how it takes so long to turn a corner and things like that. So just great mechanisms.
It's my game of the month. Actually, 1 month. I really enjoyed it that much. So we finished that, and now we're ready for more Undaunted. And it's interesting that they have stepped away from the historical basis, because I think Battle of Britain particularly was historically influenced but not necessarily accurate, but it kind of fed into the mechanics. And here they've just kind of got free reign to just go wild, and they've chosen to do the kind of mechanisms in space. Now, they have said it's not just the same game with a kind of space re-theme. It's new mechanics, but still true to the Undaunted system, which is a system I thought worked really well.
Yeah, I hear there's kind of like a page. It's like, if you already know the Undaunted system, then this is what this game does that's a bit different. So there's kind of almost like a quick start for those familiar with those Osprey games, which is great to have, isn't it?
And hopefully it's got all the mechanics that I do love. You know, the use of the card play and the way that they play into both your strength and your card draw. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what the designers can do without the limitations of having that historical influence. So I've always loved kind of spacey themes. I do love sci-fi. So it's taking mechanics I really, really love and injecting a theme onto it that I also love. What's not to like about this?
Yeah, and it'd be really nice if this is a game for Osprey games that brings people into that system of games that have shied away because of the topic before, and then realise actually this is really excellent. Need to kind of back catalogue through these other amazing games.
There is the slight issue we found in Battle of Britain where when we introduce other people, someone has to play the Nazis, and that's not particularly fun all the time because they were the baddies. So with this, removing that, setting it into the far-flung future, there's no kind of associations there. You can just enjoy it and enjoy the gameplay without kind of the guilt. So yeah, what a brilliant turn for the series to take.
Exciting. So we were talking earlier about video games that you really liked, and now we've got Video Game Champion.
Yeah.
By Arcane Wonders. No. Do you just want to be a video game champion?
There's a film in the early 90s, I think, called The Wizard, which is about a person who played Nintendo games. It's a shameless advert for Nintendo, particularly Super Mario 3, but it came out at the same time. But in that, he became like the champion of all video games. Gaming. Now, if you don't know, prior to doing board game videos, I used to do video game journalism, and I focused on kind of the 16-bit era. So Super Nintendo, Mega Drive era, which is where this game is set. But it's not just set on old games, and it's not licensed in any way, but it's set on the gaming culture, but not the gaming designing culture, the playing culture of, at that age.
A fair bit about
which I wasted my youth doing. I didn't have lots of money. I wasn't like the kids nowadays with their 400 games. We had one game, and we would go to Blockbusters and rent another game maybe if we were lucky, or we'd swap games at the playground with someone else and play their game and go, well, that's terrible, I don't want to play your game anymore. I remember once this weird memory of borrowing a game and exchanging it with a friend, and on the back of the game he had written, "This is Ryan's, I want it back."
He did not trust you.
And that's the only thing I really remember about this Ryan from my childhood, was that we used to exchange games, and once he wrote in permanent pen, "This is Ryan's." And so I love the idea that game might still be there. Anyway, I'm going off topic.
Did you return the previous ones, or was he?
I don't know.
He was mad.
He was very angry about that. I wanted. Maybe really loved the game. I can't remember which game it was. Anyway, back to talking about Video Game Champion. So this I saw It was originally based in a foreign country. There wasn't a English version of it. I think it might have been Spanish or Brazilian.
Oh yes, it was South American. Yeah.
And there's lots of talk. Dice Tower loved it. So they played it. Now it's a Dice Tower Essentials game.
Yeah, so...
and originally when I first found out about it, I was like, wow, that's going to be... I love the theme, but that's going to be a bit of a ropey game, isn't it? And it turns out, no, it's an absolutely fantastic game. And I'm so pleased because it has really understood they haven't talked about people who wrote in permanent pen on the back of their games, but they may as well have done because they really understood the culture of it. I don't know much about the mechanisms and what you do in the game. I don't know what player count it works at. I don't really know if it's light-hearted or it seems quite a dense game, quite a lot going on there, which you wouldn't expect from this theme. But it's a proper game, which has got a theme I love. Yes, please.
Going back to your childhood and you sound as giddy as a school kid.
Yes, it has so many happy memories attached, and sometimes nostalgia feeds your enjoyment of a game. And I do hope that, because this wasn't what you spent your childhood doing, you're far too cool for that. Hopefully, I've never told you about my friend Ryan who wrote on the back of games.
It's the first time I heard about it just then.
And hopefully playing this game will trigger more memories of, when I used to play with my brother or when I played with my family. I've since been fortunate enough to build up a big collection of all of the old games I used to play, or the ones I used to own, or the ones I saw in magazines and thought, oh, one day I'd love to own that. I now have a really quite substantial 16-bit video game collection.
You do.
So to be able to share those memories of the culture is something I'm really looking forward to.
So next up on the list, I don't know how you've nabbed it for your list because I wanted it for my list. I like Seti too. I like CGE games too. In fact, they're always right up our street. So, I mean, somehow you've nabbed this one for your list.
It was on my list of games I was most looking forward to this year.
So that gets you to trump it because now you've basically got it on two lists.
Yes, I'm now talking about it for the second time. So if you want to go back and see that video, you'll know why I'm really excited.
Proof.
But yeah, CG just get the level of complexity right for us. They get the theming right for us. And obviously a lot of these games I've chosen because of the theme. It's really a draw for me. I love the idea of this being a sci-fi game grounded in science, which is important to me. And I do like the kind of what I've seen of it with the rotating boards and all of those fun things.
Yeah.
Echoing a game from a few years back, if not last year, called Astro Navigators that I really enjoyed as well.
Yes.
So yeah, this does seem an interesting theme. Exploring the outer reaches of our solar system to understand what's out there, search for extraterrestrial life, and it's as I was saying, it's CGE, which means it's going to be a game for me. I was going for poetry there. And I've talked about this quite a lot in other videos, so do have a look back on those. But yeah, there's going to be a big crowd of people for Seti.
Oh, I mean, the CG stand's always amazing, and they've always got, that huge under falling skies, and there's always like a code name set up stuff. And there'll be loads of tables, and they're going to be rammed at that stand the whole weekend.
Hoping to bring it home if we get a chance to. We're going to have to rush there, I think, to get home.
So this little fluffball has joined us for the last one on Julian's list. And he isn't a Corgi, but he does behave like a Corgi sometimes.
Yeah.
And there is a game called Happy Corgi.
Yeah. So I would love to say I made a decision much more sophisticated than that box looks a bit like our dog. I want it.
And then you read the description and then you realise that you win the game if the dogs get the most cuddles.
Yeah, a game based on victory points, which are cuddles.
He really likes cuddles.
He does like a good cuddle. So yeah, you're going around. Unlike a cat in Kyoto, you're going around a park avoiding an evil cat.
There's an evil cat and there's a nasty dog to avoid.
Just to collect cuddles. I think this is a brilliant idea for a game. And yes, I chose it because the dog on the box looks like Fen.
Are we collecting Fen dog-like games? Absolutely
probably,
we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely we are. Will Fen play it with us? Hopefully.
Probably. I think he'd be good at it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's very good at getting cuddles, so I feel like he would be expert at Happy Corgi.
It's a family game if, we're playing with dogs. It's really the only reason I picked it.
Yeah. I think the girls will quite like it, to be fair, as well.
In fairness, I was going to choose Boop the Halls. That would obviously, that's going to be a game I need to get if it's for sale there. They're not exhibiting it though. So unless there's retailers bringing Boop the Halls, the Christmas version of Boop, of course, it may not be even something we get to see. So yeah, that would have been on my list, but I am very happy with its replacement of Happy Corgi.
Yes. So will Femby.
So that's been my 10 lists of games I'm looking forward to at Essen 2024. Now, obviously check our channel for Libby's list. You're going to go through your 10 favourite games too, so keep an eye out on the channel for that video.
Yes, and we have made sure that they're different. So
yes, there won't be any overlaps on the games.
No, because there's so many games we could barely even get it to 20, let alone just down to 10 between us. But
let us know in the comments down below what games you're looking forward to as well. And also, if you'll be at Essen 2024, we're both going to be there. We are both going to be involved in different stands, so keep your eye out for us if you want to meet up with us when we are there. If you're new to the channel, maybe you've discovered this because you're looking for some Essen content, subscribe. We post a video at least twice a week, and we always talk about all sorts of different board gamey things. So hopefully, if that's your thing, you'll consider subscribing. And a good place to buy board games
is your friendly local game store. And for us here in the southeast of England, ours is Chaos Cards, and we do always have a discount code in our description. So if you are buying at their online store, then you can pop that in and save yourselves a few pennies.
But as always, thanks so much for watching.
Bye. You can say bye, Finn. You can say bye? Yeah.
Because we're going to get